you're a salesperson, like you need to kind of know like how you do in sales. But if you don't have experience, that's okay. I added my global sales school because I still draw from the signature selling methodology and some of the other courses that I took, selling to win, question-based selling, Activist sales negotiation, all that kind of stuff. So, and then continuing education, that's where I kind of talked about that. This is what I was talking to you about. You know, you've done some traveling, Devin, but like for me, I needed to explain the gap in my resume, and I wasn't embarrassed by it, but I just needed to like talk about like, okay, what did you do in 2006? And so that was kind of it. And so then I went references. Then I talked about letters of recommendation, and this is where the brag book kind of comes into play. So the brag book, I believe, started in pharma sales, and maybe I don't know where it is relative to med device. It's been a while since I've done this, but this got me in, and this separated me from the other people. So letters from clients, like ask them, like, or if you get an email from something that you've done, like jot it down, print it out, right? Whatever it is, letters from clients. And so like these are some of the things that you've seen on LinkedIn. These are those LinkedIn, types of, testimonials, if you will. And then OR experience, I went and shadowed. This was back when, I could do this without vendor credentialing, but I went and shadowed an orthopedic surgeons and kind of and I knew that I wasn't going to like pass out from the sight of blood or the smell of electrocautery on skin. So diplomas, and then like performance, like kind of what you've done, where you've been, honors and awards, and this is kind of like where like executive, 100% club, rep quarter, anything that you can do. And then this kind of see attached pages. So I was rush chairman. And so I had a piece on that. Like I wasn't just a fratty guy. We actually did some cool things for the community, and, different vice president in my high school, whatever you have that's going to stand you out from the rest. That's the whole point of this. This is where the world travel comes in. And so I talked about this a little bit online, but I'll show you kind of, this is us in Germany in 2006. We're selling the Argentina jerseys. And this was kind of like, objective was to generate income, to sustain travel. We purchased jerseys, and then kind of like factored in like what happened and like what it was for us. This was honestly, Devin, like the majority of my interviews was talking about this page.
Yeah.
And so what I bring that up, and then volunteering, coaching, and kind of some other things. I bring that up to basically just share with you like that you need to get to that place where the people that you're going to be interviewing with, they're interested in you. Like the bullet points of your resume and your school and all the training, that gets kind of you as terms of a prerequisite, but then everything else is what separates you from the rest of the people trying to go after the same positions. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Definitely. Now I see kind of what you mean by how you have everything structured and working in that yoga picture.
Yeah.
Like that About Me page.
Yes.
Which is different from your world travel page, but including that. And then that'll make people interested in me because they'll say, oh, why did you decide to do that? What have you done with that?
Right. In yoga, I don't know you that well, but yoga seems like a big part of your life.
Yes. Huge.
Okay. And that's good. Travel was a big part of my life. Right. And people like to talk about things that they're truly passionate about. And if I figured anything out in my experience, it's find something that you love to do and then figure out a way to somehow do that for money. Not that you're aiming to be a professional yoga instructor, but if you could somehow utilize yoga to introduce or open doors into this world, then that is awesome, because that's an area where you are an expertise. Right. I don't know the first thing about yoga. I've probably done 3 classes, and it's difficult for a guy like me, but I realized it's important to breathe and to stretch and to get kind of the namaste and centered and all that stuff, the meditation and all that good stuff. So that's really cool that's something that you do, and you should shine a light on that, a bright light on that, because that's what I've found is like when I see a lot of resumes, and I definitely do, it's the things that stick out. I just talked to a guy who's a fly fisherman, and I just went on a fly fishing trip, and it was awesome. And so what do you think we talked about? We talked about fly fishing. We talked about that. And then in that discussion, you learn about the person. You learn about, can I trust this person? Are they going to be on time? So the fact that your picture is of a sunrise yoga pose to me says you have no problem waking up early. You're driven, you're dedicated, you're centered. You're not going to miss a case, right? That's in a manager like this mind. That's what we're looking for it's the soft skills, the people skills, the interpersonal skills, the things that aren't really necessarily on a resume. Mm-hmm. So that's the best like piece of advice I can give you is just like, find what you really love to do and find a way to like showcase that in your presentation of yourself as a aspiring sales professional in med device.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What questions do you have for me?
What questions do I have for you? So my question feels specific to my situation. Okay. But like, so I'm yoga instructor. I do yoga classes a couple times a week. Should I include like my total like income or like planning or anything like that? Just because like you had the we bought the jerseys and we sold the jerseys and that was our income. That was the objective.
I don't think you need to. Not to interrupt you. Sorry, go, keep going.
No, that was pretty much it.
The reason I did that, very specific reason, is that it's not too often that someone works 4 years and has a good job at IBM and then quits to go travel. So what I was trying to do, number one, is something that's just kind of a fun story that I'll always remember. And it was a great way for us to generate income while traveling and backpacking on a shoestring budget. But we financed that entire trip ourselves, right? There was no credit cards. It was something that my best friend and I, and another friend, a great friend of mine as well, we all planned it. And he came and joined us later, but like we all planned for the year prior, and it was strategic and it was calculated. And so what I was trying to bring hiring managers is that I'm not a quitter. I don't just quit 4 years into a job. Right. I'm not like a nomad. I did this very specifically because I didn't have a girlfriend at the time and I didn't like really have any reason to keep me in the States. And I really wanted to travel. Like I kind of caught that bug 2 years earlier in China and Japan. So the whole point of the Jersey venture was to show a hiring manager that I'm still very much driven and a sales guy through and through. Like that is me and I can't escape it. Even if I'm in a third world country, I'm going to figure out ways to negotiate. And just like we negotiated those jerseys down from like $25 to $7, because I was telling the owner of the shop in Thailand, like, hey, we're going to buy a lot of these and this could be a really big deal for you. And just trying to paint that vision to Kiki, the shop owner in Bangkok. And so that stuff comes out in an interview, and then you can see the wheels turning on the hiring managers at the time. They know that I get it and that I'm dialed in and that I'm not some guy who's just going to quit in a few years. Like this was just a temporary pause so that I could go experience the world. And as a result, I got more centered and more balanced as a person, and enables me to do things the way that I do them today. So I think that was why I did it. I hope that makes sense.
That makes
for you. You're a student. You have there's yoga, all the things. And I was looking at your volunteering and the bone marrow, donors, and like, that's the stuff that like separates you, Devin, from anyone else that's trying to do what you're doing, because that stuff lasts with you. Like it's all about making an impression. We talked about this off camera, but like dating, right? You're trying to just leave little cues and little kind of seeds to plant to people that, hey, this is an interesting, complex person that could really help us grow our business. She's got relationships with some surgeons, right? She understands kind of the landscape of what we do based on your field, right? What is your master's, or what is your?
Neuroscience and experimental therapeutics.
Right. There you go. And I'm in the neurosciences portfolio of Medtronic. That's why we're connected. That's why we're talking. That's why I'm, not selfishly, but that's why I'm like enthusiastically interested in your path, because I think we need more young, bright minds like you who actually love the brain and then the spine and the central nervous system and those types of things, because you have to get past all the other stuff. You got to really be passionate about what you sell. And so bringing it full circle, like, I think you've got a great resume if you just figure out like little ways to make people make a mental note and say, yeah, I want to talk to her about, it's awesome that she does this. And you will talk about your neuroscience studies for sure. But the other stuff too, like maybe the person that the hiring manager that you're talking to is also a yoga instructor or loves that kind of, you know, or outdoors or whatever it is. You just, sales is all about the art of people, communicating with people and finding a common ground, right? That's what I do. I find common ground with people and then connect. Mm-hmm. So I hope this was helpful. I've got to jump. I've got a call that I need to jump to.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this. This was super helpful.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being prepared and for doing a lot of that legwork. I talked to you about Bragg book. Hold on one second. Yeah. The joys of working from home. I think hopefully my kid's okay. My wife's there. I need to go check on him as well. But basically, like, I don't even know what I was saying. Do you remember?
The legwork of the Bragg book.
Yeah, you did a lot of the legwork. You did a lot of the homework, the heavy lifting. I told you before your finals about this. You got through finals, so congratulations. I remember those times. And then now you have this great thing so that I can kind of come back to that place when I gave you that advice. I don't even know when that was, but this is awesome that you now have a working and we can kind of, you know, work it to where it needs to be. And I know you're going to make improvements after this call, right? Okay. And send me what you have. And I can't wait to see it. So, yeah. Good luck to you. Honestly, I'm pulling for you, Devin. I know you're doing great things. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We will talk soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on one second. Good.